the realm of endurance sports, there are legends whose tales are beyond the boundaries of mere athleticism. Athletes who went beyond sports and showed physical and mental abilities that were considered impossible before them. But there is one professional athlete who became a legend in a very unconventional way, not only by winning in his sport but also by surviving it. In the heart of Rome, on a warm summer day in 1955, a man came into the world, destined for a life of adventure and resilience. He was not born into privilege or fame. Raised in a modest neighborhood, his childhood was defined by struggle and determination. From a young age, he displayed an unmatched appetite for competition. His drive was undeniable. His love of sport led him to participate in running competition from a young age. Growing up in the vibrant neighborhoods of Rome, he was filled with curiosity and energy, always eager to explore the world around him. At the age of 19, he joined the police force, but also pursued his love for sports, becoming a skilled marathon runner and competing at the highest levels. He never knew his determination to compete would be tested, not by other competitors, but by nature's deadliest forces. In the heart of the Sahara Desert, where the winds whisper tales of ancient civilizations and the sands stretch endlessly towards the horizon, one man embarked on a journey that would push the boundaries of human endurance. I'm Sam, and this is the remarkable story of Mario Prosperi's conquest of the Sahara Marathon. It is 1994. Mauro Prosperi is informed about the Marathon des Sables by his old friend, who was also his fellow running enthusiast. He tells Mauro they should compete in the 156-mile race together. It's a huge challenge for Mauro. He's never been in a desert, but after years of running, he's keen to challenge himself and drawn towards a new environment. Mauro begins preparing by running 40 kilometers daily and reducing his drinking water intake in aims to adapt his body to the feeling of dehydration. His wife, concerned about the deadly environment of the desert, tries to convince him to pull out. But Mauro has made up his mind. For him, the Sahara Marathon is not merely a race, it's a test of his strength, mental fortitude, and unwavering determination. With 250 kilometers of unforgiving terrain ahead of him, every step would be a battle against the elements and the limits of his own resilience. It was April 10th, 1994. Mauro joined the Marathon Des Sables from Morocco, accompanied by 80 other runners. As the starting horn echoed across the desert, Mauro set off with a purpose, his gaze fixed on the distant horizon, his mind singularly focused on the journey ahead. He needed to prove his resilience to himself. But he never knew how that resilience is going to be proved. Over the first 3 days, they covered challenging terrain, each runner mostly alone due to differing paces. Mauro followed all race regulations, carrying his supplies and navigating the desert independently. On April 14th, 4 days into the marathon, Mauro was running in the 4th place and doing very well, but he faced an unexpected challenge. A severe sandstorm engulfed the desert. He'd never seen anything like it. His vision was gone completely, and he was left wandering in the middle of the desert, just trying to keep himself safe until the storm calms down. But by the time the storm stopped, he was stranded and far from the racetrack. He searched for landmarks, struggling to maintain hydration. With dwindling water supplies, he resorted to unconventional methods, including recycling his own urine to survive. After several days stranded in the Sahara, he came upon a deserted shrine. It was a Muslim shrine, abandoned decades ago. Mauro used the shrine as a shelter for the following days, hoping to be found. During this time, he ate small portions of his food rations within his backpack. He was very careful to eat as little as possible. He also tried to maintain hydration by sucking on wet wipes from his pack. He decided to plant a small Italian flag on the roof of the abandoned shrine. He hoped this would attract the attention of anyone who might be in search of him. He found a colony of bats within the tower and ate a few of them to keep himself strong. He was lucky to find a few bird eggs, beetles and lizards near the shrine as well, but Mauro needed water more than anything. He left the shrine and continued walking for days, traveling only when temperatures were cool, early in the morning and later in the evening. On the fourth day of Mauro's disappearance, a plane flew over his location. Finally, he might be found. He put all his remaining energy to work and started drawing big SOS signals in the sand. Then he made a fire with any materials he had in his backpack to create a smoke signal. As the fire began to light up, another storm started, lasting 12 hours and leaving him stranded once again. Having failed to attract help, Mauro reached his ultimate desperation. He wrote a farewell message to his family with a piece of charcoal, then grabbed his pocket knife and cut his wrists. He laid down in the shrine and awaited an overnight death. He said, "That's it, the end of my life's journey, in the middle of the desert, alone, in darkness." But destiny had a different plan for him. By morning, Mauro woke up in surprise. He should have been dead by the bleeding, but due to his high level of dehydration, the blood within his veins had clotted instead of freely flowing, keeping him alive. He said that this experience helped him regain confidence and determination to continue. He felt the Sahara has spared his life that night. After 9 days of battle with Sahara, he noticed a young girl walking with a few goats in the desert. He ran towards the girl and shouted for help. The girl ran away screaming and disappeared over a dune. Later, in an interview, he said,
"She looked at me and got shocked, then started screaming. I tried to calm her down, but she disappeared over a dune. Then I thought, I must look hideous. I took out my signal mirror and turned it toward my face. I was appalled. I was a skeleton. My eyes had sunk so far back into my skull I couldn't see them."
The young girl returned with her grandmother, who led him towards a small camp with a few tents. A group of women served him mint tea and a cup of goat's milk. Then he was offered food, yet was unable to digest it. He was first loaded on a camel for several hours by the camp's men, who took him to the nearest village. There, Mauro was turned over to a patrol of military police who blindfolded him. In suspicion, he may have been a spy. Mauro had no idea he'd gone 289 kilometers off course from the marathon track. He'd passed the Jebel Bani mountain range and unknowingly crossed the Moroccan border into Algeria. He remained at a military hospital in Algeria for 7 days. The Algerian military officials finally made sure he was just a marathon runner and not a spy. He was able to get a flight back to Rome and reunite with his family. Mauro has since returned to the Marathon Des Sables 6 times. He's always talked about his love of desert in his interviews, saying he wants to experience it every year. It seems like Mauro has made a significant connection with the Sahara during those horrific 9 days.
I feel a connection there. I love the clarity. And, you see, the Sahara spared my life. Those days in the desert were my happiest.
As we reflect on Mario Prosperi's extraordinary journey through the Sahara Desert, we are reminded that resilience knows no boundaries. Against all odds, he survived the harshest of conditions, emerging not defeated, but empowered by the experience. Mario's story serves as a testament to the invincible human spirit and the enduring power of the human will. His story reminds us that the greatest conquests often lie not in the destination, but in the journey itself.